You've been told to eat your vegetables, but what if some of them are secretly making your knees worse? For adults over 50, certain vegetables, yes, even the healthy ones, may quietly trigger inflammation, joint pain, and long-term stiffness. In this video, we're breaking down 5 common vegetables that could be working against your knees, and what many seniors choose to eat instead. You don't want to miss this. Now let's get into the list. First up, tomatoes. Tomatoes are often seen as a nutritional powerhouse. They're rich in vitamin C, potassium, and antioxidants like lycopene, and for most people, they're a healthy choice. But if you're dealing with stiff, sore knees, tomatoes might not be doing you any favors. In fact, they could be quietly making things worse. The issue lies in a group of vegetables called nightshades, and tomatoes are one of the most common. Tomatoes contain a natural compound called solanine. Solanine is thought to act as a natural defense chemical in plants, helping them ward off pests and fungi. But in humans, it's been linked to inflammation, especially in people who already have joint sensitivity or arthritis. Now, to be clear, solanine isn't dangerous in normal amounts. It's not toxic, and it's not going to harm everyone who eats it. But several case studies and small-scale surveys have found that in a subset of people, particularly older adults with osteoarthritis or inflammatory joint issues, cutting out nightshade vegetables, especially tomatoes, reduced their joint pain and stiffness significantly. The inflammation triggered by solanine can lead to swelling in the knees, fluid retention, and increased sensitivity in the surrounding tissue. Some people describe it as a burning or pressure sensation in the joint that comes on after meals and lasts for several hours or even into the next day. Over time, this low-grade inflammation may contribute to progressive joint discomfort, making it harder to walk, bend, or stay active. Another reason tomatoes may be problematic for sore knees: acidity. While your body generally handles dietary acids well, people with existing inflammation or autoimmune conditions may be more reactive to acidic foods. Tomato sauces, especially when combined with sugar or served with refined carbs like pasta, may spike inflammation markers in some individuals. And remember, it's not just about fresh tomatoes. Ketchup, pasta sauce, tomato soup, juice, salsa, these all count. For people trying to identify food-based inflammation triggers, removing tomatoes from their diet for 2 to 3 weeks, and tracking symptoms has been a useful test. Some notice no difference, but others report measurable improvements in knee comfort, reduced swelling, and better range of motion. Of course, not everyone needs to avoid tomatoes. They're a good source of nutrients and perfectly fine for many people. But if your knees are aching and you've tried everything from supplements to stretches, this might be an angle worth exploring, especially if you eat tomato-based meals several times a week. As always, it's important to talk to your doctor or dietitian before making big changes to your diet. But if there's even a chance that one small adjustment could help reduce knee pain and improve mobility, it might be worth a closer look, especially when it's something as common as a tomato. Now, if tomatoes caught you off guard, this next one probably won't, but it's still one of the most commonly overlooked contributors to joint pain, especially in the knees. We're talking about potatoes. Potatoes are a staple in diets around the world. Mashed, baked, roasted, or fried, they show up at dinner tables, holiday feasts, and everyday meals. But for people dealing with stiff or aching knees, potatoes may be doing more harm than good. Just like tomatoes, potatoes belong to the nightshade family of vegetables, meaning they contain the compound solanine. In some people, solanine has been linked to inflammatory reactions, particularly in joints. While the science isn't fully settled, enough anecdotal reports and preliminary studies exist to raise red flags, especially for seniors already managing arthritis or chronic knee pain. Some researchers believe that solanine may disrupt nerve signaling in the joints or cause immune system overactivation in certain individuals. That overactivation can lead to pain, stiffness, swelling, and reduced mobility, particularly in large joints like the knees and hips. But the inflammation risk with potatoes doesn't stop with solanine. Most common potato dishes, think French fries, mashed potatoes, hash browns, are high glycemic, meaning they cause a sharp spike in blood sugar. That spike is often followed by a crash, and repeated blood sugar swings like this are associated with increased levels of C-reactive protein, CRP, a marker of systemic inflammation. For someone already struggling with joint issues, elevated CRP levels can make day-to-day movement more painful and recovery slower after activity. And the way potatoes are prepared makes a difference too. Fried potatoes, for example, combine high-heat cooking, refined oils, and simple starch. A perfect recipe for inflammatory stress. That combination has been linked to oxidative damage in cells and worsened symptoms in people with osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis alike. Another factor to consider is portion size. Because potatoes are often served in large amounts, and because they digest quickly, they can lead to calorie overconsumption and weight gain over time. And more weight on the joints means more pressure on the knees with every step, every stair, every bend. Even just 5 to 10 extra pounds of body weight can significantly increase stress on the knees. Now, not all forms of potato are equally harmful. A small baked potato with the skin, eaten alongside fiber-rich vegetables and lean protein, may have less of an impact on blood sugar and inflammation. But for seniors dealing with persistent joint pain, some have found relief by limiting or rotating out potatoes for a few weeks, replacing them with lower glycemic, anti-inflammatory alternatives like sweet potatoes, quinoa, or cauliflower mash. As always, dietary responses vary. What triggers inflammation in one person might not in another. But if you're regularly eating potatoes and noticing ongoing knee pain, it might be worth considering whether this harmless comfort food is silently adding to the problem. You don't have to eliminate them forever. But knowing the potential impact of potatoes, especially when consumed frequently and in processed forms, could be a small but powerful step toward healthier, happier knees. You might be thinking, okay, nightshades, that makes sense, but what about leafy greens? Aren't those always good for you? Well, not always, especially when it comes to spinach. Spinach is one of those vegetables that shows up on every superfood list. It's rich in vitamins A, C, and K. It's packed with iron, folate, and fiber. And for most people, it's an excellent choice. But for some older adults dealing with knee pain or joint stiffness, spinach might be contributing to the problem more than helping. The reason? Oxalates, naturally occurring compounds found in many leafy greens, including spinach. While oxalates aren't dangerous for everyone, they can cause issues in people who are sensitive or who consume them in high amounts regularly. Oxalates can bind with calcium in the body and form calcium oxalate crystals. These crystals are best known for causing kidney stones, but in some cases, they may also deposit in the joints, leading to pain, irritation, and even inflammation that mimics arthritis. This condition is sometimes referred to as oxalate arthropathy, and while it's not extremely common, it's something that becomes more relevant with age. Seniors, especially those with decreased kidney function or chronic inflammation, may be more likely to accumulate oxalates in the body and feel the effects in their knees, elbows, or other joints. And here's the kicker. Spinach is one of the highest oxalate foods in the modern diet. A single cup of cooked spinach can contain over 600 milligrams of oxalates, far more than what's found in most other vegetables. When eaten occasionally, it's unlikely to cause problems. But for people adding spinach to smoothies, salads, omelets, and side dishes daily, that oxalate load can build up quickly. Some early warning signs of oxalate sensitivity include joint pain that flares up after certain meals, general stiffness, or a gritty feeling in the knees, hips, or back. These symptoms are often misattributed to aging, but in some cases, reducing high oxalate foods like spinach can offer noticeable relief. And it's not just about what you eat, it's also how your body processes it. People with certain gut conditions, like leaky gut or imbalanced microbiomes, may be less efficient at breaking down oxalates. That means even moderate spinach intake could trigger issues over time in people with compromised digestion. So, what's the alternative? Leafy greens like kale, romaine, bok choy, and arugula are much lower in oxalates and still deliver powerful nutritional benefits. If you're trying to support joint health without overloading your system, rotating in these options can be a safer, more knee-friendly way to stay green. To be clear, spinach isn't bad for everyone. But if you're struggling with chronic knee pain and haven't found the cause, reviewing your oxalate intake, especially from spinach, might be a useful experiment. As always, consult with a healthcare provider before making major dietary changes, especially if you have kidney concerns or underlying health conditions. Sometimes it's not about what's bad, it's about what's best for you. Now this next one might be in your fridge right now. Bright, colorful, and packed with crunch, peppers seem like a harmless way to stay healthy. But for some people, they're hiding a painful secret when it comes to joint health. Bell peppers, chili peppers, banana peppers. They're colorful, flavorful, and often found in salads, stir-fries, and spicy dishes across the world. Many people think of peppers as a healthy addition to their diet, and in many ways, they are. They're full of vitamins A and C, fiber, and antioxidants. But just like tomatoes and potatoes, peppers are part of the nightshade family. And that means they may not agree with everyone's joints. The main compound in peppers that raises concern for joint health is capsaicin, especially in hot peppers. Capsaicin is what gives chili peppers their heat, and it's actually used in some topical creams to relieve joint pain. But inside the body, the story can be different. In certain individuals, capsaicin may cause internal irritation, and combined with other nightshade compounds like solanine and alkaloids, it can contribute to low-grade inflammation in the joints. Even bell peppers, which aren't spicy, contain similar compounds. These substances may not be harmful to everyone, but for people who are sensitive, especially those over 50 with existing joint conditions, these chemical irritants could lead to swelling, stiffness, and discomfort, especially in the knees. Some people report a pattern. They eat a meal with peppers and wake up the next day with achy joints or reduced mobility. It's not always immediate or dramatic, but for those who've tracked their symptoms over time, the connection becomes clear. Inflammation from peppers tends to show up as stiff knees, difficulty bending, or soreness when going up or down stairs. Another factor to consider is cumulative exposure. If you're eating several nightshades in the same day, say a tomato-based sauce with diced peppers and a side of potatoes, you may be stacking compounds that your body struggles to process, especially if you're sensitive or have an underlying autoimmune condition. It's worth mentioning that not all peppers are created equal. Sweet bell peppers tend to be lower in the compounds that cause issues, while spicier varieties like jalapenos, serranos, and cayenne have higher concentrations of capsaicin and alkaloids. If you're noticing more joint pain after eating spicy foods, this may be why. So what's the solution? For people with sensitive joints, replacing peppers with anti-inflammatory vegetables like zucchini, carrots, or squash may help reduce overall pain levels. These options still offer color and crunch, without the potential for irritation. You don't necessarily need to eliminate peppers forever, but doing a 2-week test without them and tracking how your knees feel might reveal more than you expect. As always, listen to your body. If you've tried everything, exercises, supplements, even medications, and your knees still feel stiff or inflamed, your diet might be the missing piece. And peppers, as healthy as they seem, could be part of the puzzle. And finally, rounding out our list is one of the most misunderstood vegetables on the table. It's rich in color, trendy in recipes, and often praised for its fiber. But if you've got stiff or aching knees, eggplant might be doing more harm than good. Eggplant, also known as aubergine in some parts of the world, is a deep purple vegetable often found in Mediterranean and Asian cuisine. It's praised for its fiber, low-calorie content, and versatility in dishes like ratatouille, stir-fry, and eggplant parmesan. But what many people don't realize is that eggplant is yet another member of the nightshade family. And for some older adults, it could be contributing to chronic joint discomfort. Just like tomatoes, potatoes, and peppers, eggplant contains alkaloids, particularly one called solanine. Solanine is a naturally occurring chemical compound that helps protect the plant from pests. But in sensitive individuals, it may also trigger the body's inflammatory response, especially in and around the joints. That inflammation doesn't always show up as immediate pain. Sometimes it manifests as morning stiffness, soreness after meals, or a heavy aching feeling in the knees, hips, or hands. For people over 50 who are already dealing with osteoarthritis or reduced joint mobility, even low-grade inflammation from foods like eggplant can push symptoms from manageable to disruptive. And while eggplant is lower in carbohydrates than potatoes and contains less capsaicin than hot peppers, its unique mix of alkaloids can still cause trouble. Studies have suggested that these compounds may interfere with enzyme function in muscles and joints, leading to delayed recovery, reduced mobility, and in some cases, worsening arthritis symptoms. Another overlooked issue is that eggplant is often prepared with inflammatory ingredients. Think about eggplant parmesan, fried, breaded, loaded with cheese and tomato sauce. That's 3 nightshades in one meal, plus refined oils and processed carbs. It's a perfect storm for someone who's trying to calm inflammation and support joint health. Even grilled eggplant, when served frequently, might not be as harmless as it seems for certain individuals. Some people also report digestive issues after eating eggplant, bloating, gas, or abdominal cramping, which can be a sign that their body doesn't tolerate nightshades well. And while digestive symptoms might not seem directly related to your knees, gut inflammation and immune overactivity can lead to systemic effects, including joint pain. So, what can you do? First, don't panic. Eggplant isn't dangerous. But if you're someone who eats it regularly and suffers from chronic joint issues, especially in the knees, it might be worth a 2-week elimination trial. Cut it out completely. Track how you feel, and then slowly reintroduce it to see if symptoms return. In the meantime, there are plenty of anti-inflammatory vegetables to choose from. Broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, green beans, and leafy greens like arugula or bok choy can give you all the benefits of fiber and nutrients without the potential risks linked to eggplant. As always, consult with a medical professional before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you're managing chronic pain or taking medications. But sometimes, something as simple as skipping a single vegetable can lead to better movement, reduced swelling, and a clearer path to more comfortable knees. Not all vegetables are bad, but not all of them are harmless either. For seniors struggling with stiff or aching knees, foods that trigger inflammation, even the so-called healthy ones, can make a real difference in daily comfort and mobility. If you eat any of the vegetables we talked about today, it doesn't mean you have to cut them out forever. But tracking how your body reacts and talking with your doctor can help you make smarter choices for your joints. Have you ever noticed more pain after certain meals? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to subscribe to Be Well 24/7 for more no-nonsense health tips for stronger knees, better movement, and a healthier, happier future. One step at a time.